there's a power in just letting things not be perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely something to it. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, maybe I can mask it as like, yeah, it's like just fucking punk rock. Just let it go.
Just fix it in post.
Yeah. Or I could do that too. I could like AI generate.
You widen the shot, make it so it's in thirds or something, like the camera thing, whatever that is.
I have actually, whenever Adobe dropped all of the like generative AI stuff, I was really curious like what it would make the rest of the room look like. So I did like do it, and like it looked like shit.
Yeah,
of course. Like I don't know, we don't gotta start off this episode, which by the way I am recording. So hello everybody, but we don't gotta start talking about AI or anything like that.
Yeah, well, wherever
unless you want to,
wherever it goes is cool. I didn't have too much subject matter to talk about.
I have absolutely no plans. I never have any plans.
It's the best plan, I think.
But you know, I'm sitting here today with 2/4 of a death metal band. That's just what we'll say about that.
Yeah, that's us.
Yeah,
that's exactly what we are, really.
The 2/4.
Yeah, 1/2, 2/4, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So for the inquiring minds out there, and so I don't have to do it, how the fuck do you pronounce your band name?
Vulgar Mephitis.
That's what I would have said. I'm glad I knew it was right.
Nailed it.
Yes.
It's something with Latin. I'm not sure what is it? It's like something to do with smell or something.
It basically like translates to putrid stench.
Yeah.
And it's
something to do with skunks, I think.
It's very forgive the pun, but very like on the nose for like a death metal band name.
Yeah, you're onto something with that too. I think it's like it has something to do with the genome of skunks and stuff like that too. Our vocalist Jacob kind of ran with that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. He was the original guitar player. I ended up like kind of stepping into that.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I guess as far as being in a death metal band with like, you know, a fun name and heavy loud riffs and all of this stuff, you having fun doing this stuff?
Oh yeah,
gentlemen.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Practicing in person every week is good too. Rarely that ever happens anymore, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
It's great. I mean, we mesh very well together playing our instruments. Excuse me. It's been a good time. I moved both of my bands into one practice studio recently, so I don't have to tear down equipment and move constantly, you know, throughout the week.
Yeah.
So
I find that the most the hacks to continuing. Look how fucking off center I am. We're getting hella distracted right now. I'm gonna fix this. Hold on 1 second. Sweet.
It's avant-garde camera.
Yeah. We'll go that way, and then we'll see if that's right. If yeah. Okay, wait. So this is the microphone is centered. Right. You know, anybody that wants to help produce a podcast, I could definitely use another fucking hand.
You need a Jamie.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll go with it. That's gonna look great. That's gonna be it. Now we're cooking with butter. Look at that.
It's you.
Look at that. Okay, so anyways, now that the camera angle has changed and I've edited this and nobody knows what just happened, what I have found, getting older and continuing to be in bands, the thing that really makes it work is figuring out those little hacks. Like, oh, okay, I'm playing in multiple bands. If I could just get them into one space, this is going to be, you know, easier in terms of like productivity and moving things around. And
it might end up, sorry to interrupt you, but it might end up like raising the price of your rent, things like that. Like you just kind of have to, I'm glad that everybody's willing to work with me on that, you know, because I was paying 2 different rooms and this and that for over 1.5 years, 2 years almost. So yeah, I'm glad everybody was on board with moving into a new space and a new building. Like, it takes a bit more persuading than it did.
Yeah.
So
it was kind of like everybody's kind of was on board with let's get a better room. Everybody in the same room too.
Yeah, it worked out real well.
Yeah. So are you practicing in a space where there are other metal bands, or do you find yourselves like being like the loud ones?
We're definitely the loud ones, I think, because we're surrounded more by hip hop studios than we are metal bands. There's a few different metal bands in our hallway and our floor and whatnot, but
I haven't caught them playing.
No, I've ran into Adam Bailey practicing with his new band. I kind of don't remember the name of it. Not Economy, but his other little thing.
Yeah,
he has going on with Jason. Then Matt Francis has his 2 bands in his room down the hallway and stuff. But other than that, not really.
Yeah, it's interesting how over the past like 10 years or so, I remember like way back you'd go to ABC and it was just like a wall of blast beats. Yeah. But now it's just like a wall of 808 in like any like practice space you go to.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting because I feel like maybe I'm just very disconnected from it, but I feel like the producer, like hip hop producer to hip hop artist ratio in the city is like way off. It seems like there's like a million producers and I really don't know that many people that are still doing hip hop.
Yeah, like I was up there yesterday because I had to meet Lou because he thought he broke the lock to our door. Regardless, we were leaving and there was a guy on the phone talking to somebody like, "Oh, you need me to hop on a session with this group?" So I think that's actually a true thing going on. I'm not sure. It seems like, I don't know. I don't really know personally because I'm not in that world myself, but it seems like there are definitely an abundance of studios up there.
Yeah, it would be a really fun concept. This is just, I'm just kind of spitballing some ideas. Where if we had like all of the metal bands in one space, but like when you check in, like everybody shows up at the same time and you check in and you draw a random number and you basically everybody has to go to different rooms and then we make new bands.
Interesting.
It's like a key party, but for metal bands.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, if you get voted off or you feel like leaving, you have 24 hours to find a new band. Or you have to send off your flare and you get voted off down. I don't know. That could be interesting though.
Yeah, well, like a Love Island thing, or like
one of those Survivor shows where they're stranded in Alaska.
Oh yeah,
type thing. Yeah, I forget the name of the show.
Or just Naked and Afraid on the 7th floor of the storage facility.
I'm sure it's like that after one in the morning.
Yeah,
with trying to find like ways to keep people interested in the music scene is always a challenge to some degree, depending on like what style of music or what scene you operate in. I don't even know if it's necessarily like genre specific. I think it just depends on who's actually promoting shows for that genre, what venues are operating at that time. I feel like right now we're actually in a pretty healthy space for metal and other like loud, obnoxious guitar adjacent music in Pittsburgh.
I agree with that. I think there's like a good bit of those older venues kind of shutting down. So some of the older generation might feel like it's in a bad place, but there are also some new places popping up to perform and play and meet people and experiment, things of that nature.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know, I guess there's like a natural cycle to the lifespan of like these rock clubs. And it's not like abnormal for things to close. It doesn't mean it like doesn't suck when it happens, but also like it isn't surprising because so many of these places that do close, it's not like many of them are like actively trying to work with like new young talent in the city. I'm not even talking about young in terms of like the age of the people in the bands, but just like new bands, and like nobody wants to take chances, but it's like, well, it's risky to take chances, so let's just do another fucking DJ night. And as somebody that does a lot of DJ nights, like I get it, but it's hard, I'm on both sides of the fence here with figuring out like how do you keep a place open, but also if you don't, I don't know, youth drives the culture. The young kids that want to go out and see things, that's why they're going to the places that they're going to, and they're not going to the places that have closed. I'm trying to be very, I don't want to name names, but if you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
And I'm also sure that this could probably apply to anybody in any city. It's not like it's a unique thing for venues to close. You know, they close everywhere.
So you go somewhere, it's like, do you remember XYZ venue? It's like, oh yeah, I remember the place opened 4 years ago. Like, what happened to it? It's like, just, it happens. Like, it closes.
Yeah, like you said, they have a life cycle. It's not necessarily always going to stay open and be the same experience for people.
There are definitely exceptions though to that,
normal.
to where like there are places that are just like a pillar of like a scene or something, to where it's just always going to be around.
Well, totally. Well, what is it about those places that like help keep them afloat? Right? It's the fact that I think the people that like promote and do stuff in those places like actually keep their hands in the pot of like what's actually going on instead of like I don't know,
being safe.
Yeah, being safe, or just being, for lack of a better word, like lazy.
Yeah.
You know, like just still booking like the same old bands, the same old local guys that have been doing shows there every other week for the past 4 years. And I mean, it's cool. I mean, to give you your little comfortable crowd, but it doesn't grow. And I don't know. I feel like at this point, there's always like the signs that you can kind of tell when places are going to close. Like it didn't fucking surprise me when like I heard about stuff that was happening, because it was just like I would see what was going on there, and I was just like, oh, okay, like
Altar Bar, when you would go into the bathroom and there'd be a guy with like have $1 and here's a Snickers.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, this place is done.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, that's very much like a you don't know what you got till it's gone situation. I always liked that place, but
same.
I know a lot of people were pretty like, I don't know, they didn't care much for it, and I don't know why. I don't know.
I like the location, just as like a kid being able to get dropped off at like a McDonald's or something, and then just like walk to a show. Like that was really fun.
Yeah, I think that now that I think about it, I feel like a lot of the people that like weren't too like into that place were the people that I think don't really understand like a DIY concert experience. The thing that was really unique about Altar Bar is that there was a lot of crazy shows that happened there, because there was a lot of artists that were like blowing up in that time frame. All of that like MySpace era stuff. Like I played a show with Imagine Dragons at Altar Bar.
That's crazy.
That is wild to think.
You know, like it's okay. You know, and I was like, I don't know who the fuck this is. Like, you know, we just like opened it, and I honestly forgot that I even fucking did it until like years later when somebody reminded me, because it was you know, remember AWOL Nation, that Sail song?
Yeah.
They were the headliners. So Imagine Dragons was just opening up for them, and then we were just like the local ding dongs on it.
Yeah, that would have been cool to see.
But, you know, there was a lot of like bigger bands that were starting to blow up, and people were going there. And I think for a lot of people that were going to a place like that, expecting maybe more of like a stage AE experience.
Yeah, I saw a lot of metal shows there in my formative years. It was like really easy to access from the South Hills where I grew up, because I could just hit the trolley and be at Wood Street or Steel Plaza, and then I could just walk the rest of the way, and it would be like another 10 minutes. So I could go to work and then get off work at 8:00 and still make it to see the headliner if I wanted to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a fun place.
It was a really,
I had a good time there.
Really, really great size room for the location, for sure. And we just don't. There's like not anything really like that now, which is like super unfortunate.
Yeah, it's like the closest is like the downstairs are like preserving is like the closest to that, I feel.
Size wise,
yeah, definitely. I think like in terms of like holding the torch for like underground alternative culture, like preserving is definitely the one that is doing it the best. I wish it was 15 minutes closer, but it's not that far. It just sucks because like when I was fucking like 17 years old, I didn't have a fucking car. There's no fucking way I would have ever been able to go to a show out there.
Yeah, I didn't have a car until I was like 21.
But it's, hey, you know, it's still shows are happening. And if you can't get out there, at least people can get there. And it's better that they're happening and that they're not happening.
I wouldn't have been able to find a way to go unless I knew somebody that was going, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I had to go out there at that age.
I remember when I was a kid and my mall rat mall was Monroeville Mall, but I had some friends that their mall rat mall was Century 3. And the distance when I was 16 between Monroeville Mall and Century 3, you would have thought I was going to fucking like Los Angeles.
Yeah, it was a different country.
Yeah, that was like going to the middle of Ohio.
Yeah, it was like insane. I remember a couple of times we took the bus from Monroeville Mall to Century 3 Mall. I forget what bus it was, but it was like a 2-hour ride. You know, it like went like all through like probably like the back of Turtle Creek down into like Braddock, up through all of West Mifflin. That whole fucking thing. Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what bus number that was. I know the 51 and I think the 41 runs by my house. That's all I know.
Yeah, I think that a lot of the bus numbers, I think they've changed.
Is that right?
Yeah. Have you noticed that it's not PAT anymore? It's like PRT. It's like Pittsburgh Regional Transit.
Now that you mentioned it, I think I have noticed that.
Yeah. It's been a while since I've taken a bus, but I see things.
Yeah. It's like whenever I use the trolley a lot and like just for convenience sake. But if it's ever down and I hop on a bus, I like Shelby's the best, my wife, because she has that schedule like laid out on her phone if she ever needs it, you know?
Yeah.
So she's my go-to.
Yeah, I used to have like all of these bookmarks on my phone of like all the different bus routes I would take. And they had that thing where like you could like bookmark a stop. I don't know if they still have it, and it would like tell you the times, like basically like in real time, like how far away the bus is.
Yeah,
if they
still do that. Yeah.
So just be like, okay, cool. Like
whether it's accurate or not is up for debate.
I didn't have too much issue with it. Did you ever have to take a bus to go to a gig?
No, I don't think I have. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I remember there was a band from Pittsburgh. I guess they were called Choir. Do you remember them? They were from like 2000, like 15, 16-ish, post-punk. Really cool. Like pretty great like live performance and stuff like that. But I remember I had them on the podcast once, and I don't know if they were like just like fucking with me, because they were kind of doing this thing when they were on the show where like I could tell that they were like trying to be a little trolly.
Yeah.
Which is like fine. But then like after like it kind of like loosened up and we were having fun. But they told me that they like took like all their gear on a bus to like get to a show one time. And I'm like, it wouldn't surprise me if they did, because they were just like younger punk kids. But that'd be like just like so fucking gnarly to do.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, that would be a logistical nightmare.
I have seen like people like they're like how I tour on a Greyhound bus, but it's like not like a drummer or anything.
Oh
like
yeah,
that, but
yeah,
that would be nuts.
I've done like solo like hip hop tour like on a mega bus before, where it's just like, you know, I just have like a book bag and like a case.
You could pretty much put everything in like 1 or 2 bags and you're ready to go.
Yeah, it's
ready
not
to
like
rip.
actually like really that.
Putting together an ensemble of gear and people on a bus would be insane.
Yeah,
that would be.
That might be good content though.
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Oh yeah,
we do live in the content era.
Yeah,
I'm picturing like John Candy and like Home Alone.
Maybe we should just start doing a bit of our own.
Yeah,
to start doing it everywhere we play.
Yeah, just take
if
a
it's
bus.
not on a bus route, we can't play it. Yeah.
Sorry, it's off the what is it, Route 66 or whatever, 65, whatever it is. we can't hit it.
So, have you been doing a bunch of traveling lately? For gigs and stuff?
I haven't actually. This past year, I've taken a step back from my duties on stage, and I've assumed more of a production manager role, if you will. Mostly just because the amount of traveling that I was doing, it stopped being fun, especially when you're like alone. It's very isolating and exhausting. And I mean, it was just like, hey, I was noticing for a while there, it seemed like you were in a lot of different cities in like a very short amount of time. Oh yeah,
for a long time.
Definitely. It was a lot of 4 or 5 airplanes a week for sure, like going boop, 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 all over, which is cool, but it's exhausting.
Yeah.
You know, I kept it was very much this like mindset of like, oh, like I'm not like I don't feel like I'm a professional DJ. I'm not getting paid to play shows. I'm getting paid to travel. I'm just like a professional traveler. And like, you know, like that's the, it's like, cause like, it's like, you know, I like get somewhere and I'm like in a city for like maybe like, you know, 6 hours actually. And then it's like back to the fucking airport or back to the hotel to fucking sleep and get in the fucking car, get the rental, all that stuff. So, short answer, no, but I am going to be doing some traveling for myself soon. It's my birthday month coming up.
Ooh, nice. Happy early birthday.
Thank you.
Happy early birthday.
Thank you.
I hope it's a great month.
Hey, you know, we're knocking on the door of 40. It's my last year of my 30s. So,
oh, man. Congratulations.
You know, hey, you know, it's all downhill from here.
I just turned 30 this year.
Nice. Well, happy birthday.
Crossed over. Oh, thank you, man. It's been great. How many months has it been? 6 months?
My 30th birthday was very weird. How was yours?
It just felt like a normal day, to be honest with you. I went to work. I went and ate Mexican food. I had a great day, to be honest. I didn't do anything real special.
When's the last time you did something special for your birthday?
It's probably been, I think Shelby bought me a tattoo for a birthday present a few years back. But if you're talking about like going anywhere and doing like, no, I probably a long time.
Yeah. Jay, how do you celebrate birthdays?
I got Chinese food for my birthday this year. Yeah. That's all I did. It's pretty fun.
Nice.
Got General Tso's chicken, some sushi. Went home.
Whoa, you got the chicken and the sushi.
Yeah.
That's fucking chaotic, dude.
Yeah,
that's a science
the only
experiment.
Time I'll double up. It's like my birthday.
That's a science experiment.
Yeah.
You built like that? Can you handle that?
Oh yeah. I could eat it all.
Oh, that's fucking hard.
I could go all day not eating, or if you put food in front of me, I could just like destroy it. It's like one or the other.
Yeah. That's the other thing about traveling that is kind of sucks is the
food.
Diet shit.
Yeah.
It's really, really hard.
Yeah.
You know, like even if you have the budget to like eat like nice, like better food, it's like I just get sick of like going into restaurants or whatever and like having to like sit down and look at their fucking menu and it's just like
time consuming.
Or it's time consuming, or dreadful. Or it's all just like fast food stuff. Sometimes you're like somewhere exotic where it's like, oh, there's an In-N-Out here. That's fun. But you can do that like once. I can't eat that twice in a week. Nope. You fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You know, of all of the fast food establishments that we don't have. You know, what if you could pick one, what would you bring in Pittsburgh?
I would bring poutine from Canada to Pittsburgh. That's to every restaurant that's here. That's like all I would do. Such a sick idea. Yeah, that's all I would do, I think.
Yeah, get those illegal
there's not many
down here.
There's not many places that do poutine here. Do they still do it at Emporio? Have you ever been there?
I've never been there, no.
I know they used to do it. I don't know if they still do. I never had it, so I couldn't speak to the quality.
Okay. There's what is it? House of 1,000 Beers in New Kent.
Oh, yeah.
They do really good
they
poutine.
do have good poutine there.
Yeah, that's really good. That's the place I'll get it.
Yeah, that's a good place to go before you hit a show at Preserving.
Yeah.
You want the McDonald's poutine?
No. That's the only one. That's funny. That's the only one I tried, and it was like really bad.
Did you say that? Oh, it was bad. I thought you said it was good. I remember you saying that A&W was good.
A&W was really
good.
My
older brother also told me that.
Yeah, A&W was crazy good. And then the one that really surprised me was a KFC with the like popcorn chicken in with it. That was crazy good. That
sounds real good. Bump your mic towards your face. I just noticed it was kind of like turn it and get a little. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably fine. This is all for show. There's just like extra mics hanging up now.
Okay.
So what would you bring fast food wise?
It's hard. I would bring in a White Castle.
Okay.
Probably. I haven't had one in a long time. I grew up in the Midwest when I was like real young. So they were just abundant. You would see one in every other town, you know?
Yeah.
Just remember it being really sick and really bad for you. And I feel like people need that sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you end up in Pittsburgh?
I moved in with a different family member when I was 17, finished high school, and just stuck around.
Nice.
So that's short. That's the short of it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you always a headbanger?
I was always a headbanger. Yeah. I mean, I grew up listening to hip hop and all kinds of different music and whatnot, but I found heavy music when I was around 13 or 14.
Yeah.
And it was the one that stuck with me, you know?
Was it anything weird, or was it like the Slipknot pipeline?
The Slipknot pipeline. Yeah. It definitely transitioned to like Dying Fetus and like Cannibal Corpse very fast.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So I just kind of stayed in that realm for the most part. Yeah. I mean, it was like around like the early deathcore years too. So you had the Suicide Silence
All Shall
era,
Perish.
All Shall Perish, Whitechapel stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that stuff was sick.
It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I the whole like MySpace deathcore thing, that was like really fun because at that point, I don't know, I was probably like 20 or 21 or something like that. And I was like I grew up, like my dad had like fucking like Cannibal Corpse cassette tapes when I was growing up and shit like that. So like I was like exposed to a lot of like wild shit at a very young age. But like I kind of grew up being like, that's my dad's stuff. And it took me until I was probably like, like 15, 16, where I started like find my own things. And then when all that stuff happened, like the big thing for me was that first Black Dahlia Murder record.
Oh, heck
where
yeah.
I was like, fuck yeah, like finally, this is like something that's like different and it's my thing. But like,
yeah, seeing that band's arc has been really cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they toured that album, I saw them at the old Roboto in Wilkinsburg.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was them and 3 Inches of Blood and Himza.
Gnarly.
Yeah, it was that was fun, but like it's cool how they've kept going. And they're one of those bands that is like, oh, like you can do like cool stuff and be like pretty fucking abrasive. You don't have to like get into the like fucking like the skincare routine clean vocal makeover thing that you see a lot of like bands try to do.
Yeah, they were really good at making it look fun.
Yeah, I think that's their thing, is that they're just fun guys.
Yeah, exactly. I love that about them.
And I think that's kind of like what like I guess a band that did have a little bit of a clean vocal thing, but a band that's always like shocked me that they have the fan base that they had would have been Every Time I Die. I was always surprised like how many people liked them. Like I knew a lot of people that like didn't fuck with like heavy music or hardcore or metalcore or whatever the fuck you want to call them, but they liked that band for some reason. And if you ask them 9 times out of 10, it's probably like, well, they got dragged to a show and it was fun, so now they like them.
Great.
Unintentional,
but it works. Yeah. You just present yourself well, and it'll work out for you most of the time.
Totally. I find that it's always an interesting line being an extreme musician, like trying to do like this like dark, gnarly, gross stuff. And like you want to be a little bit fun, especially if you're kind of a goofy guy, but you also want people to take your art seriously. So there's always this interesting threshold. Some bands are able to like ride that line really well, where it's like, all of their albums have like super gnarly artwork and all of the lyrics and stuff are all intense, but you go online and they're basically just like a weed meme page.
Yeah.
So it's like some people can manage to do it, but I've always had a hard time with it. Where are both of you at in terms of like, I guess we're having a conversation about branding your band.
Yeah. I think it all depends on, who's in the band with you, personalities, if it meshes well and everybody has like a common theme. And I don't know, it's like if you want to be serious with your music, you can do that and still be a funny person. I don't think what I'm going with is that like if you have one bad egg, it can ruin the entire thing. Like it can ruin the entire experience for you. If somebody just doesn't want to have the fun,
that's not funny.
That's not serious enough. Yeah, they were like, that's stupid. Or like, I don't even think we should do. Why would you want to do a music video that's fun themed? I don't like having fun. Yeah, get those people out of your band.
Sure.
Stop. Yeah. They got to go.
Yeah, there's so many times I've heard these conversations where people were like, oh, like we were gonna do such and such, but like such and such didn't want to do it.
Yeah.
And
you'll
like,
have that.
What?
But you got to get them out of there.
Or like,
because you're not going to be a fun band.
Yeah. Or like, it's like, why do you let like other people in your creative space like have that much control over you? Like also like a similar situation. I've seen this happen twice recently with bands that somebody left the band, and because that person left the band, now they have to change their band name. And it's like, are they going to take you to court?
Yeah, right.
Like, if their dad's a lawyer, possibly.
DIY court.
But probably not.
But just it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, who the fuck do they think they are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, hey, it's like we already have like, you know, 3 bins with the fucking logo on it. We're playing at the fucking Shred Shed. Just let us get the fucking name.
Yeah.
Like, get over it.
Also, shout out the Shred Shed. That place rules.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely.
Shout outs. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Especially if it's like, it could be like one thing if it's like, oh, hey, like, I'm kicking you out of the band and we're keeping the name. But if somebody's like, oh, I'm leaving and you can't keep the fucking band name anymore, it's like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Is my opinion. But I'm sure there's nuance in all these situations.
Yeah. But I mean, the short of it, keep your funniest guy in your band, the guy that runs all the social media. That's your best way of branding your band.
Yeah. The guy who might not be embarrassed to like have a TikTok like app on his phone
Yeah.
or something. Like
Yeah, I have been really, really back and forth about getting into the whole TikTok situation, mostly just because I'm thinking it could be good for the podcast to like share clips and things like that. But I mean, it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
You know, and
do you really want to get that deep into it? You know? It's
well,
like,
I personally don't give a shit, but I do want people to see the podcast.
yeah, right.
I mean, like,
that's going to be your easiest way.
I'm putting some effort into trying to make this look and sound good. So it's like, if nobody fucking sees it, then what's the point?
Yeah,
And
TikTok
like,
does get eyes on it for sure without asking you for money like some other apps.
Yeah, and I think it would be worth it. And it's like, I know that like, I mean, Facebook's been on its fucking deathbed for a while, but now it's getting to the point where like actively like, so I'm old, so I still have like, oh, Facebook is like, whenever like my I pick up my phone, like I like instinctually go to Facebook, right? That's just my thing. So I was trying to find something to do yesterday because I didn't have a show. I'm in town. I'm like, somebody that I know has to be playing a show. So I'm like looking for events and things to do. Nothing's going on. And then at the end of the night, I found out that one of my friends actually was playing a show, but there just wasn't an event page for it on Facebook because people just aren't using Facebook anymore.
True.
And it's like, okay, well, now I'm fucking up. And now I'm, you know, it was just like a show that I didn't get to go to, but I like to be able to go and like support shit when I can.
Yeah.
And I couldn't because I wasn't on the platform to like be notified about it. Maybe there was something on Instagram about it, but I missed it. But it's also, Instagram doesn't give you a feature to just like go to like an
it's
tab.
a totally different thing. I've had that same experience trying to find things to do on a Saturday night given.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you think you kind of want to go and see a metal band play or whatever it may be, and the event just isn't there. Just, you know, I've definitely gone through that same thing.
And and it sucks because like I could very easily just be like, make a post like, what's going on tonight? I don't got anything going on. And then like, you know, 3 people invite you to things that you don't want to go to.
Yeah,
all of a sudden I look like an asshole because it's like, I'm looking for something to do. And someone's like, come to my fucking...
Cool, got something better for me to do than that?
Exactly.
So literally like, anything but that.
Yeah. So I'm like, you know, try to be like in the pocket a bit and not be too obvious about things like that. But I mean, you know, it is what it is. But long story short, yeah, I guess that maybe I have to make a TikTok. Maybe I will clip this portion of our episode and it'll be my first TikTok.
I think it should be.
First.
Yeah, yes.
I'll comment first.
Old man joins the club. Yeah, you can be my first comment. Appreciate that. That'd be great. With the band in your like social media stuff, is it something that you're like investing a lot of energy and strategy into, or is it just like just write some songs, play some shows?
Yeah, I know literally write a good amount of songs, play very little shows is our whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Put out even less music.
Yeah, put out even less music. We actually did just record music recently.
Is it like is this like a situation where, you know, I know that like people in your band have like other things that you're doing outside of the band, and this is just more of like a for fun and to just like do stuff when we can, not like trying to change the fucking world.
It really is. It's more like that. Honestly, if we could just get to a point where we just play sick festival shows,
that's ideal.
A couple times a year, that would be the best. where, you know, go fly to California, play a fest, come home, don't write more songs.
Do a weekender like 3 months after that or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little things like that. I would rather just keep the local shows to a minimum personally.
Yeah.
And
Well,
just do things like that.
you know, it's as much as I think that we all like want to be a part of it. I think that it's like I think you could do more for yourself by being a part of it, but staying off the fucking stage
Exactly.
all the
Yeah.
time. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you kind of oversaturate your own market.
Yeah.
And like, then like, again, it's back to that whole, like, who the fuck do you think you are? You know what I mean? Like Grey Walker, we'll play in Pittsburgh like once every 3 or 4 months, maybe. And sometimes that even feels like too much,
Yeah.
you know?
I'm kind of at a point with it that I don't really want to, like you said, play maybe quarterly a year or like 2 shows a year even.
It's very like morale killing to some degree. Like if you're just like on that grind and just like doing the constant, like playing for like either like the same 30 fucking people, which thank you all for coming out, but it's just like, there's no growth. It's just like, we're just hanging out.
Exactly.
And you know, there's easier ways to hang out.
Yeah, and it's like an
you know?
entire evening where like you're taking like time to set up for like that hangout and stuff too. But, like you could have like been like writing something or like
or you could have just been, I don't know, sitting at a bar with somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you know, that's
have
all
a
that
fucking cookout or something.
Yeah, have a cookout.
Leave the fucking cabs at home.
Yeah, you can separate the two.
Yeah.
We just wasted like 3 or 4 hours where we could have just done something. We could have gone to Walmart and played around in the toy section.
Could have looked like goldfish or something.
It feels like that's the thing that's kind of cool about like stuff like Millville Music Fest, where it's like, okay, like let's just get everybody together for one weekend and we can just be like, hey, this is what we've been working on. This is what we've been working on. Cool. Let's fucking just shake hands and then just hang out and talk instead of it being this whole, like, I don't know. I struggle with the whole like imposter syndrome thing sometimes. And it's just like, oh, like cosplaying as like a successful band because I'm playing in front of the same fucking 30 people that have come to all of our shows for the past fucking 5 years. Like, it's just like, it starts to feel kind of like silly. Not that I don't appreciate people coming out, but it's just like, is there any actual growth, or are we just like,
yeah, it feels like that.
Wheels.
It feels like that a lot of the times. Also, your guys' hot sauce was really good.
Oh, thank you.
I bought it from you at that show.
Thank you. What have you been putting it on?
Breakfast, eggs, you know.
Yeah.
I'll make like, I don't know, tacos. It's great. Simple, you know, simple things. But yeah, it's great, man.
Appreciate that.
It's about halfway gone at this point.
Wow. He's a fiend. He's going crazy. He's sauced up.
I'm sauced up.
Jay, you a hot sauce guy?
I am, yeah. I was on Cholula in my egg burrito yesterday. It was pretty good. I'll have to try your guys' sauce.
Yeah. I mean,
to get a dab of it.
Or bring it to the practice space fridge and you can just try it.
Okay.
It's my favorite thing to do when we go to practice is ask Jay what he had for breakfast.
It's usually nothing.
Because it's always a different answer. My favorite was some water and carrots.
Yeah. I drank water and just like crushed like a bag of baby carrots. And that's like, I was like, oh yeah, that is what I ate today. Like, it's bad.
Baby carrots are hella underrated though.
They are.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
It's a good water snack. Like, you're just like sitting there, like chilling on your computer, just like eating baby carrots. You're like, oh, I'm hydrated. I'm fine. Like, it's pretty nice.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. One of my friends like said that to me. I was
Water
like, okay, yeah, true. I was like, oh, it's very water. It's like that watermelon, I guess, and then like celery.
Yes.
Some water snacks.
Celery's like all water, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Celery's a weird thing.
Celery's weird. It belongs in soups and nothing else in my opinion.
Or like with
I don't mind
peanut
biting
butter.
into a stalk every now and then. You know, if you go to the restaurant and they're like, "Hey, you want the little veggies on the
True,
plate?" I'm like, "Give me the fucking veggies."
With the wings, yeah, with wings it is nice.
Yeah. I never eat them.
Really?
Yeah.
I always do.
Damn.
They put it. I ate at Pasta 2. It's a restaurant in South Park.
Yeah, that's some real. You're really putting your suburban slacks on there with that one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was just there on Monday, and but they put celery in the house salad. And
that's weird.
I don't know how I feel. It's really
that's too much. There's like texture, and that's like, I feel like that's abrasive.
It is. It was. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's very intrusive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't belong.
I don't agree with that.
Otherwise, great restaurant, fantastic food.
Ranch or blue cheese?
I'm gonna answer this with the blue cheese, but I love ranch on the wings as well.
Blue cheese for sure.
Yeah.
I could do ranch, but it's like blue cheese if it's there. And then everybody's like, why? And it's like, because it's good.
Sure. Well, I think that condiments are interesting, and ranch and blue cheese are both very interesting because I know you're not from Pittsburgh. Jay, are you from Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I grew up in like Munhall area.
Okay, cool. So, but I know that both of you have gotten to like travel to some degree. You've been around the country and eaten food in different places. So I imagine you've had ranch dressing and blue cheese in different places in the country. Both of those things are very regional things. Like they will taste very different in different parts of the country.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that I think sometimes people don't understand. One time I was in Seattle and I asked for a side of ranch with like fries or whatever. And the waitress looked at me like I was a psychopath.
Yeah.
I had never gotten ranch dressing in Seattle before, but whenever I got this dressing and I dipped my fry and I was like, oh, now I understand why you think I'm a serial killer, because this is disgusting.
Did it taste like Miracle Whip?
No, it was very sweet. It was like real sugary in a weird way. Yeah. I never quite had a ranch dressing like that. Like it tasted almost like a, like it was like it had like the texture of like a poppy seed dressing. You ever have like a poppy seed?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where it's like, it's almost like, I can't, it's almost like it's like a roux for a soup. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. It's almost like too thick.
Yeah. It wasn't right. And I was like, oh, okay, I get this, and then like, I've had, if you go to like, if you get like wings in New Jersey or something like that, like the blue cheese smacks, like it's really, really good in that part of the world there.
Yes, it does.
But also too, it depends on where you go. If they're making their own stuff, or if they're just going from the bottle.
Yeah, I mean, you can get that range of experience even here. Just
definitely.
Yeah.
Where is your favorite ranch? Where's your favorite ranch from around the Pittsburgh area?
There's a few pizza places that are pretty good. I know Frank's gets a lot of flowers for their ranch.
Yes.
I haven't had Frank's too many times. I've had it before and it was good.
Yeah.
But the one that I have been most intimate with is Genoa downtown.
Downtown and near Market Square, right?
Yeah. Because so they deliver very fucking late. I don't think there's a pizza shop that delivers later than them. Yeah, like you can get a pizza from them at like 1 a.m. They'll fucking deliver it to you, which is clutch. And they have very good ranch. Because most of the time, like if I can like go somewhere and go to a place, like I really won't get delivery. So if I'm gonna get delivery, it's usually just like a late night pizza because of like I don't know, like coming home from a show, I don't want to go anywhere. Just order the pizza like while I'm getting in the car, and then
Yeah, I stand on that mountain too. I avoid delivery like the plague a lot of times. I'll go and pick up pretty much anywhere I order from, for the most part.
Yeah.
But Genoa's is great. They, like you said, they stay open, and it's one of the few places besides Permanis you can get something to eat around midnight. Which seems like it's really hard to find.
Permanis isn't even open that late anymore. So
yeah, I was there, and we were eating food at like 10:30, I think. So, but yeah, anything past midnight, it's like the only place it seems. Genoa's.
I mean, 10:30 in Pittsburgh for food is like late.
Yeah,
that's pretty late.
It's really hard to find late night snacks here.
Yeah, you used to have like your 24-hour eating parks and all this stuff, and they took it from us.
They did. Yeah,
it's coming back ish, not completely though.
Yeah, I heard that there's some place in Oakland now that's open 24 hours where the Mad Mex was.
Oh yeah, I forget what it's called, but
it's called like something really dumb, like Smashed or something. Like it has like some very like college name, but I've heard it's good.
Nice.
I've heard very good things about it. But I haven't
places for those people to go and eat.
Yes, I have not been there. So do you guys want to hear a funny joke?
Of course.
Absolutely.
I haven't been recording video this whole time.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. I was so fucking distracted with everything else that I just have not been recording the video.
Well, here we are.
It happens.
But hey, you know what? The audio's fine. And to be completely honest, the majority of the downloads that the show gets is all audio anyways.
Nice.
Like vastly more, which I mean, obviously that makes sense. Like who's gonna who's gonna like actually sit down and watch something unless they have like YouTube Premium where they could like close it
Yeah.
and still listen to it. So I guess, I'm kind of just outing myself for having, a whole pointless portion of my podcast over here to some degree. But no, it's good. We're recording video now. So we'll get some stills, for the promo and things
The video's
like that.
the bonus.
Yes, and we'll just have to tell people up at the top that hey, there's no video because I forgot to start recording it.
Oh well. And now they can see your really sweet Suspiria shirt.
Oh, thank you.
Also,
yes.
did you see the remake?
I saw clips of it. I just have not been in the mood to watch it. I know it's a very different thing, and that's not necessarily bad. I'm not like one of those like people that like don't change things and whatever.
Yeah.
I understand it's a different thing, but I just haven't sat down and watched it.
I liked it. It was I actually hadn't seen the original before I watched the remake, but I appreciate them both. Kind of like you said, they are their own things.
Yeah,
Sure.
It's like Cannibal Corpse and 6 Feet Under.
Yeah, totally different things. Also, Chris Barnes' vocals on the early Cannibal Corpse stuff were so brutal, and I think he had definitely had a more I don't know. He had a better approach to his lyrics and stuff back in those days. So I'm not a total Chris Barnes hater like a lot of people are.
Yeah,
it seems.
I'm not either.
I think he had his own place in the world.
I will say this: if anybody's curious what being in a death metal band for 3 decades and not taking care of yourself will do, you now have receipts.
Yeah.
So just take care of yourself.
Yeah, you're doing covers of TNT. Like it's not good. It's not very good.
Yeah,
not real good.
Just take care of yourself. Take care of your body. Fine tune your craft. I know, like when you're doing like these extreme vocal things, it's not like the body's not meant to do that. But there's ways that you could go about doing it in a way where you'll be fine.
Yeah. And that's also a thing that came with time. I'm sure a lot of the pioneers of the genre didn't think about where they would be in 30 years.
Sure.
But now you have people that can coach you and teach you how to do it properly.
Yeah.
That just kind of came out of nowhere, it seems. Like,
yeah.
It seems like everybody you talk to these days, or not every, but a lot of like major like death metal vocalists or people that play deathcore seem like to go to the Melissa Cross thing and go through vocal coaching.
But this is gonna be my spicy take.
Let's hear it
right now. So have you ever noticed how like a lot of like models and things like that tend to look the same because they're all going to like the same half dozen plastic surgeons? I'm kind of starting to feel this way about a lot of like modern metal, where it's like everybody's like doing these like vocalists, like let's all do these same techniques. And then now it's like everything sounds kind of like creatively indistinguishable, at least to me.
Yeah.
Sometimes where it's just like, maybe like, yes, take care of yourself, find a way to do things properly, but also like find your own voice, which is maybe like a silly thing to talk about when you're discussing like a death metal vocalist, because it's all just like garble, blah, blah, blah anyways. But there is like, I don't know. It's maybe I'm just old. I don't want to be screaming at the clouds. But a lot of times when I listen to new bands, there's a lot of like sweet, guitar stuff and things like that. And that's what hooks me. But it's like very rare where I'm like, oh, wow, I find this vocalist very impressive.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's all just very like, again, creatively indistinguishable. Like it could be fucking anybody.
Yeah.
Definitely exceptions, but
yeah. And then all anybody's talking about is the vocals on it. And just like, what are you guys seeing in this? I don't really get it.
And I feel like there's like I don't like when things are like when like intensity is manufactured to a point that it sounds like sterile. And I feel like you get that with some modern metal stuff where it's just like, it sounds so brutal. And I'm just like, it sounds like a computer.
Yeah.
Which, but also like as somebody that engineers and records music and stuff like that, I can kind of dig it from that perspective where I'm like, whoa, it's cool that you can do all this sweet stuff with all your EQs and your compressions and get this to sound this crazy, but it's also like not real to me.
Yeah, I think it crossed over that line of like being indistinguishable about a decade ago, and it's been on that steady slope for a long time.
You can have the most symphonic, brutal breakdown, like is like what it's like a competition of.
And it's just like I don't know. It just doesn't like do it for me anymore. Yeah. But like, I guess if it is doing something for whatever young kid that's just getting into it now, like cool, you know what I mean? Like if it's giving them the same feelings that like that shit gave me when I was a kid, like the first time I listened to like fucking Prowler in the Yard and I was like, what the fuck is this? But that's like, like that early Pig Destroyer stuff, it's all like recorded in a basement on like a fucking 4-track, and it sounds like that's fucking intensity to me. It just sounds impressive. Like so fucking visceral and crazy, and like it's the production's not like air quote good or whatever you may consider, but it sounds fucking insane.
Yeah, like, it's what they were doing, and they definitely achieved what they were going for. I think if it was what they were going for, I don't know, but that's a really, really brutal album.
Yeah, and I don't know. But again, I really try not to be old man screaming at the clouds. I think that
but comes out every once in a while.
I definitely do think that I've reached that point where it's like I like what I like and I try to give new things a chance, and I need to just kind of step back and be like, okay, like it's going to sound like this, but just try to listen to the songwriting, try to appreciate what it is, and not get too caught up in like the fact that it's all possibly digitally manipulated a little bit.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
It seems like that's starting to go away. It's like it like went over the peak of like being like too serious and like deathcore and stuff. Now it's back to just like being like fun, and it's just like taking on like kind of like the slam like mask on top of it now. Yeah, I think it's like kind of cool. Like with a lot of like the newer bands that are like blowing up right now.
Yeah, I think that it's everything happens in those cycles, which is natural. It's just interesting to like live long enough to now start to see those cycles where it's like, oh, okay, like deathcore is starting to come back, because it was like when I was younger, it was like, oh, okay, like grunge, and then that's gonna turn into this, and then that's gonna, because I guess it was like 10 years ago you had all of those kind of like pop punk and adjacent bands that were starting to do that kind of like grungy thing. I'm trying to think of some of those bands. I was very kind of removed from that world. Like Super Heaven, I think, was one of those bands.
I really wasn't in that world either.
Not Turnstile, but they're like bands that were adjacent to that. It was like I remember seeing a lot of that stuff getting shared around, and I was like, oh, it just sounds like the shit that was happening 10 years ago, and now it's been 10 years, and it's like, okay, here we go again.
Yeah. Seeing like the MySpace deathcore revival like right now is like very strange to me. So I was like, I didn't like it then, and like now seeing people be like, oh yeah, this stuff was awesome. Like, what are you guys talking about? It's very strange.
I don't know. I wonder. I don't know. And it's interesting how people find old things, because it's like, is it just like kids that like grew up and their dads were like listening to like Chelsea Grin?
Yeah, right.
So now it's like, now
that's
they're like
picturing.
They're like
oh
16.
yeah, that's my dad's music.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? It's crazy.
I mean, anything to get Beatles shirts and Led Zeppelin shirts off of the planet is fine, and I have no issue with either of those bands.
Yeah, that's great.
It's just like I'm very like kind of like fed up with the cultural stamp they've had.
Yeah, we had JCPenney like job for cowboy shirts now instead.
I did see awesome. I did see a Bring Me the Horizon poster at Walmart.
It checks out.
Yeah. But that's as close as we've gotten as far as I've seen to that. You got to give it some more time. Maybe another 10 years you'll have the Suicide Silence stuff at Target.
Yeah. I remember finding like a faceless shirt at Hot Topic like 10 years ago, and I was like, that's pretty cool. But like, I guess it checks out because Sumerian, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about as far as they would go with those. I don't know.
I remember thinking about like Faceless is one of those bands like when the Planetary Duality, that record. I remember being like, what we've crossed it. There's some threshold has been crossed now.
Yeah.
That was a level up.
That was definitely
where I was like, this
level up.
is insane, and I'm not sure what I'm listening to. Like, it's cool, but I'm also like, okay, this is like we're operating on a different level. And I mean, granted, there was plenty of bands that were doing shit like that before them, but like on that level of like, oh hey, like this is in Hot Topic now. This is getting normalized, which good for them. But it's just very interesting to see like something at that level
it was
go like crazy. It
was like the next Necrophagus basically on like Sumerian, which was like really cool.
Yeah, interesting label choice, I think.
Yeah.
For that type of music.
Well, you know, like most labels really don't, I mean, some I think try to be pretty true to the genres of music that they want to promote. But I think some people also are like, hey, well, it's adjacent enough and it's popular, so let's sell records. You know, it's funny thinking about like how in the 90s Epitaph was all like, you know, Warped Tour old punk bands, and then, you know, I think they were releasing Bring Me the Horizon. I'm pretty sure it was an Epitaph band.
Was it?
I think, I could be wrong.
I think so.
So
sounds right.
And they kind of just like were like, okay, well, have they always been so that's kind of like, is the goal of this label to be like a pop punk skateboard music label, or is that just what teenagers are listening to in the 90s and we're just going to pivot to what teenagers are listening to regardless of the genre?
That sounds more accurate.
Yeah. It's like what Earache did, kind of, a little bit. They got like Decapitated in like a bunch of bands, and got like a bunch of real goofy bands like after that.
Yeah, I mean, some labels, I know that like this isn't like too different, but I know like Relapse has released like a bunch of like electronic and noise stuff, which I guess there's some headbanging weirdos that also like to listen to, you know, guitar pedal demos on vinyl.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, no shade. It's just, but it is interesting. I've seen in, who was it? There's one label that was really wild, because I saw my friend had, I forget who it was. Oh, it was, damn it, Cleopatra Records. And they're more like goth. They did like, a lot of like goth and industrial type stuff, but they started like reissuing a bunch of like 90s country stuff.
That's pretty sick.
You know, so, and I don't know like why or how that happened. It's like, hey, like somebody got the rights to this stuff and we have an avenue to release it, so let's do it. But the funny thing is sometimes it's not uncommon for labels like that to like have like a subsidiary, you know, where it could be like, oh, like Down South Records under Cleopatra or whatever, you know. But no, it was just straight up like their logo's like kind of like this like eyeball that's very like goth Susie and the Banshees looking.
I think I have seen the logo before.
And it's like that still just had that logo on like whatever this country record was. I forget what it was, but there was like a few of them I saw. I was like, Cleo, that's really weird. But hey.
Yeah, I don't know much about that world.
Yeah.
Myself.
I mean, the independent labels, it's an interesting world. I worked for an independent record label for almost 10 years.
Oh, Get Hip, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And hey, you know, it's interesting. There was always kinds of a very wild array of things that we would release under that label. It was all kind of like centered around guitar based music.
Yeah, Jay does that same thing now.
Yeah, I'm working at Willow Tip Records out of Wexford right now. It's like the same thing. It's like it'll be like brutal death metal like 1 month, and then like 2 prog metal releases like in a row and stuff like that. So it is a huge array of like metal genres.
Yeah, I mean, I think that like that's important because like I don't know many people that like only listen to like one specific subgenre of metal anyways. So
Yeah.
it's like, why not? Like, I mean, good art is good art. A good band's a good band. So if you have an opportunity to like release something, why not? Especially if it's gonna do well
Yeah.
and maybe help fund some of those more like passion projects.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, there's definitely, I mean, my old boss was very guilty of doing this, and if I owned a record label, I'd probably be guilty of doing it too, where it's just like, I know that this probably isn't gonna like change the world. I might not sell very many of these. I just like this so much and I just want to fucking release it. You know?
Yeah, I'm sure I would be doing a little bit of that too if I had the same if I
Yeah.
was in his shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just I would try maybe not to overdo it, I guess. I don't know how often he was doing that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's erratic. You know, it's not like it was happening all the time, but it's very obvious.
Well, he has
sometimes.
he has quite a collection of stuff up there.
Oh yeah, it's chaotic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very very interesting. Working for a label, it kind of like fucked me up in the sense of like, I try not to be such a pessimist, but unfortunately it's something that I do. I started to feel like every day when I was walking in there, I was like walking into like a museum of failed dreams. Just all of this like back stock of shit that like nobody's
really
ever
funny,
gonna
dude.
buy.
That's really funny.
And it's just like, fuck,
A
like,
museum of failed dreams.
One
It's
day
funny as shit.
it's just
it'll
like,
be gone.
well, that's the thing is it's like, I know regardless of like whatever I feel about like any of this music that's in this building, right? It's like, I've written music, I've released music. I know how much work goes into this. Like, I've put in like months, years of my time into just getting like one project done. And it's just like, and I've seen it just, you know, you release it and then it's just there. It just fizzles,
just-
right?
Yeah.
It's basically like as soon as it sees the sun, it evaporates. It's like a fucking vampire,
Yeah.
right? And you know, and that's just basically what, like, not everything there, but a big portion of it, you know what I mean? Just all this stuff that's like the same fucking 15 CDs since I started are still there.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever gonna fucking buy this CD. And just think about all the work and the time that went into it, and it was also really fun too because it could be like a fun lesson in like how not to package an album. You see like a lot of like really poor graphic design and things like that,
Yeah.
which is always fun.
Yeah, like the spines being like a weird ass color or something like that.
Oh yeah. Oh, you start to get like really nitpicky about things like that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun. You should work for a label for a while.
Maybe try it out.
Ruin your brain.
Yeah.
You got to peek behind the curtain.
I'll live vicariously on this one, I think.
So, you know, with Vulgar Mephitis, you are just chilling, basically, but you just recorded some stuff. Right? Is what you said.
We just recorded a whopping 2 songs.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
So
like
is
4
that- is that-
minutes.
I was
4
gonna
minutes of
ask, is
material.
that like 2 minutes of material?
Yeah, most of our songs are pretty short.
It's like 4 minutes, 20 something seconds, I think. Or
Yeah,
a little bit more.
something like that. Yeah, we're just gonna put out a demo of songs, and basically we've kind of written an album at this point. These 2 songs didn't necessarily fit on that.
Yeah.
They sound like a different thing, so let's just put this out as a demo. However the
It's
masses want
content.
it. It's content.
It's content.
It's
Yeah,
something.
people need something to listen to. We haven't put out anything in about 3 years.
Yeah.
So
It's time for 2 songs.
yeah, give the people what they want. 2 songs.
Yeah.
Everyone's asking, like, dude, where are the 2 songs? It's like, they're coming 3 years. It's like
Yeah, we have stuff written. We just haven't put anything out in a while. So we're looking to do that soon.
Well, hey, you know, things take time, and I appreciate having the patience to not just feel like obligated to put something out, like, because I don't know, to like try to stay relevant or whatever. I feel like I see this so much now with so many bands I have on the show, or just people that I see in my community,
Mm-hmm.
where it's just like they're constantly posting just
Yeah.
stuff just to post it. And it's just like, I get so fatigued that like by the time they actually like do something like relevant, it's like I'm not even paying attention anymore.
Yeah.
I get,
or it
You get a
might
tolerance.
seem underwhelming or something too at that point. Like, okay, it was worked up for this, or where I'm just like, let's maybe not do all that stuff and just put out some music.
Again,
like I'm very vanilla with my content creating. I don't really do any of it.
Sure. And yeah, it's just like this whole like 10 days to release,
Exactly.
9 days to release.
Yeah, we'll maybe say like,
did you pre-save yet?
We have some songs coming for you soon.
50 likes and we'll drop a teaser.
Yeah,
go fuck yourself.
Stop, dude.
But I don't know, for some people that works. And I guess some people kind of want to have that type of like farmed engagement with their fan base.
Yeah, if you're the audience for it, it can't.
That definitely hurts my imposter. It would hurt my imposter syndrome. It would make that feel intensified. I think if I were to start doing that stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like a cop out or something would be. It would just feel weird. I just don't do that stuff.
It's really hard because for me, and being pretty much like a generation removed from like this like TikTok world, I still have like this old man brain that I kind of need to shake of just like thinking very old school in terms of how I talk about shows, like, you know, physical flyer, tell people about it, make a couple posts, and like, but it's not like, I don't know. It's when I think about like the way people market their things now, it's like, I understand it. It just seems really not like something that, I don't know. It activates my imposter syndrome for sure.
Somehow it does. It's hard to explain. It seems like it's a lot of work to just put out in the ether for maybe some people to see. I just feel like it wouldn't grab my attention,
and I also,
in the same way that a flyer would. So I just don't do those things.
I also like lived through the time period when like it was actually kind of cringy to like post about your stuff a whole lot. There was a time frame when like, you know, people were doing that and the band's like, bro, like they're just posting so much, but now it's like normal because you know, like there's people that just like promote their lunch that they're having harder than you're promoting your band. It feels like sometimes. So it's like the whole focus on how people interact with the internet and how people post on the internet has definitely changed since then.
Absolutely.
I haven't caught up. It's like past my comfort zone.
Maybe that's what lives in my brain subconsciously as well, because I definitely lived through that same thing where it was just like you said, really cringy to just oversaturate the same I don't know, format with your bullshit, basically.
Yeah, I feel like if what you're putting out there is like genuinely good, people will find it.
Yeah,
definitely.
I feel like it's just a lot of like people putting out mediocre content and trying to like just farm clicks.
Yeah, well, that's how our EP was released. It was like we put it out on our Bandcamp, and then Maggot Stomp hit us up and was like, "Hey, do you want physical stuff made?" Okay, cool, let's do it.
Yeah,
and just kind of rolled with it. It was just a very organic thing.
Yeah, we put like zero effort into like marketing that. Like really, like it was like people just reaching out to us like really like after that.
Yeah, because it was good.
Cool. Yeah.
And I'm a hell of a lot more proud of that than I would be trying to just like endlessly promote 3 songs, you know.
Definitely.
I think that like if you gotta at least do the thing of getting it out there into the world. But yeah, if you're like, you know, kind of basically standing on a metaphorical street being like, please listen to my music, please listen to my music, please listen to my music, people are gonna kind of be like, oh,
exactly.
Yeah, dude, like, stop.
It's already like a turn off before you even start trying to like it. It's like it's like I'm thinking back. It's like most of the bands I liked like growing up, it's like didn't even have like a social media that like I could like reach out to them on. It's like it's like I don't know how I would like contact like Severed Savior or something like if I wanted to. It's like I just found it, thought it was cool.
Yeah, it's the whole like bands and social media thing for sure. That was like a time like growing up and listening to bands, like I was like, it was just like having to like go to like the record store and like see the flyers and things like that, and just like hoping for, I remember like seeing like I was at the very vivid memory just popped into my head of what was that band? Is it Behold the Octopus?
Yeah.
I remember seeing a flyer for a show they were playing at Garfield Artworks in a pizza shop in Squirrel Hill, and just being like, oh, I've heard about that band. I'm gonna go to that. And I went, and it was fucking sick.
Yeah.
But it was just like being like, that was how I found out about things. And like, there was never like, oh, like I like this band now. Like, oh, like I was never like 15 and like, oh, like I'm going to go follow Demu Board Gear on Instagram or something.
Yeah.
It just didn't exist. And even now to this day, I'm not like, oh, like, let me follow Opeth so I could keep up with their tour dates and things like that.
It's like, why do I want my feed flooded with like Opeth content?
Yeah.
It's like, I just like know I like it already.
Yeah.
Like,
so the thing that's really cool about the best way that I find out about shows now is actually from Spotify, which is maybe one of the good things that Spotify does is whenever, like if you follow artists, if they have a show in your area, it'll pop up in your thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. That's my new Bands in Town that I use.
Nice. I used to use Bands in Town a lot. It was the one that was my go-to for finding out who was coming. Before I was like, that was even before I was really on Facebook. I think I was using that app.
Yeah. It still exists.
Yeah.
It's still out there.
It was really sick for like finding like shows that you might miss like about like 10, 12 years ago. Like that was really nice. Or like finding like new stuff too. Like I think I found, what was it, the band Enslaved, just from like looking on there. I was like, oh, this band's awesome. And I just like started listening from that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was from like, it would just be like all the Ultra Bar, like Smiling Moose shows would like pop up on there. So that was cool to find.
Yeah. And again, I guess this kind of full circles back to the whole like me now only like trying to find something to do and just looking on like Facebook events like a goddamn dinosaur. I feel like I don't know. There's a lot of things that we need, but I definitely think that some sort of a better centralized database for communicating about things that are happening, which many people have fucking tried this over the years and it never fucking works. Like people have tried to launch websites and newsletters and things like that, and like, God bless them, heart's in the right place, ain't gonna fucking work.
It hasn't worked yet.
And like I hate saying it, but it's just like, I mean, even recently I got hit up by some dude to like help with like a project, not exclusively about that, but just about like kind of just wanting to like, ultimate goal is to kind of create like a city paper alternative. I commend you, but it ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. Like, is it like a zine with like dates for like shows kind of thing?
No, I mean, it's like basically building a website out that has like articles about like all like arts and entertainment and culture and tech in the city. That's not just music. Okay. Just kind of being like, oh, this is a place where you can go to find out about things. And like, he basically asked me to be like a contributor on the page, and he's just trying to get a bunch of people to be contributors that everybody can contribute to this page and add articles. And then you post the whole thing and people can go on there to find out about what's going on in sports or tech or this or that or music, It's
like the city paper, but cool.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what he was trying to do. And like, again, like I commend it, but like, I think the whole reason that like the city paper works is because like, they get all of these restaurants to pay money for the advertising, and then they just get thrown in places so people just see them and pick them up,
Yeah, good luck with that. That spot's already kind of taken, I feel like it was just kind of poof into nobody's hands, basically.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too, is like, who actually even wants that kind of content that isn't already like a creative type person?
Yeah.
Like just like thinking about things from like, I think it's like really easy to like romanticize ideas like that when you're like a fellow creative because you get it. But if you think about just being like the normal person that has like their normal job and their normal life and their family and their fucking bills and all this stuff, it's like, how many of them are actually going to sit down to just interact with like, oh, I want to interact with this unique website to find out about what's happening in Pittsburgh, or am I just going to go on Instagram or TikTok?
Yeah, they're going to find their own individual ways of researching every bit of that information he's trying to put in one thing, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sucks. I feel bad.
Yeah. I do see that taking off like the most is like the pages on Instagram that are just like, here's like all like the things like Pittsburgh hardcore shows. Like they just like post like all the shows going on.
That's, so, like, that's a good idea. Whoever's running that, shout out to you, because it's helped me out.
Yeah, that is a good idea for that for sure.
Yeah, I think I need to try to pay more attention to some of that stuff and be a little bit better about actually like engaging online too. Because actually for the past probably like 2 or 3 years, I'm pretty good about being like, hey, this is what I'm doing, but then not actually like scrolling through and like seeing what other people are up to. Not because I'm like, go fuck yourselves. I'm just kind of like, oh, I need to have a break. I need to distance myself from social media so I don't get sucked in. But now I distance myself too much and gonna try to get my toes back in there.
Yeah.
Which sounds completely ridiculous to say, being somebody that runs a fucking podcast.
Yeah,
but you know,
strange,
but I mean, even this, like, I kind of shoot myself in the foot sometimes with this because I just kind of like post the stuff, but I don't really like promote it.
Yeah.
But also, in my head, I'm like, well, if there's cool guests and the conversations are good, people will naturally find it.
I think that's going to be your best way to approach it most of the times. I don't really know.
I don't know if like what do I do? Do I give Instagram $50 to like boost a post?
No, you don't. Don't be that guy.
And then I'm just like, because then like, who's it going to? Because that's the thing. Is like, this is a very specific conversation. Can I target like 18 to 49 technical death metal fans within a 25-mile radius of preserving underground? And it's just like it tells you like how many people you can expect. It'll be like four.
Yeah.
No, there's more. There's more than that. But,
the technical death metal in the Pittsburgh region, 4. Yeah, that makes sense.
Have you ever played a show at the Rock Room in the middle of the week?
I haven't in a very long time. I haven't even been in the Rock Room since like well before 2020. Maybe even, who knows? It's been a very long time. Yeah. But I am going on Monday.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I was going to say we're playing there tomorrow.
Yeah. So oh, that is tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow. Yeah.
I'm going tomorrow, yes.
Yeah.
It's sneaking up.
Yeah, that snuck up on me. I was like, oh, that show's in 2 weeks. In my head for like the last...
I legit was thinking that this weekend.
Yeah, for like the last week. I was like, oh, I got a couple weeks before it. Then I was like, wait a minute. Podcast the 15th. Okay, the show is the 16th.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I actually I've never played there. So
have you ever been in there?
I've been there 2 times in my whole life.
It's romantic.
Yeah,
It's very Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's no like a bowling alley kind of like cigarette-y?
It's probably cigarette-y.
Okay.
Definitely not a bowling alley. It's just like it's a very dive bar-y.
Very dive bar. Yeah. If you've been to Gooski's, it's pretty much the same experience with a little better stage, a little bigger stage, if I remember right.
Yeah. Well, it's a bigger room. I don't know. The stage is more of kind of like elevated wood off the ground, but again, I haven't been there in so long. Who knows if they've added or subtracted or anything like that. I've seen like videos of some stuff that has happened there and it looks like it's the same.
I went to see Brooks's other band do their album release show there in like February or March. Remember, the floor was very sticky.
That tracks.
Yeah.
Long John Silver's floor imported.
Yeah. Also, who's keeping Long John Silver's alive?
Fish lovers. I don't know. Hush puppy enjoyers.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty good. Just I would never eat it. Like.
I know 2 people that would. That's about it.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm speaking of like bands and memes. I'm pretty sure the See You Next Tuesday guys were doing a lot of Long John Silver's content.
Really?
They were like touring.
That's awesome. We played with them at Green Beacon when they came through.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Riparian did anyway.
Yeah.
That was a really fun show.
Yeah, they're fun guys. But yeah, I remember seeing some. That was probably the first time I'd even heard of or seen anything related to Long John Silver's in a very long time.
There's one that I drive by every now and then in Carnegie, Heidelberg area.
Oh, really? There's one that close?
There's there's people in the line.
Is it just an LJS or is it an LJS A&W?
That's the best one.
No, it's a standalone LJS. It's right next to a Shop and Save. It's right next to a Mexican restaurant, Ford dealer. Yeah, I mean, it's busy. It's popping. People are getting hush puppied up.
Wow.
In Carnegie.
Getting hushed and silenced.
Yeah.
Well, rock and roll.
Heck yeah.
So I guess I'm gonna be seeing you guys tomorrow.
Yeah.
Whenever this episode goes out, tomorrow will have happened a long time ago.
It was a good time.
Be weeks ago. But yes.
I'm feeling well.
Oh yeah, it was a super sick show. It was crazy. The Rock Room changed everybody's lives that night.
Yeah, man. Wish we could do it all over again.
We
can.
Yeah, we could.
We can't, but
Tomorrow.
We can't.
no, that's too many shows. That'd be the
We could play the Rock Room every night until this comes out.
it'd be a fun.
I'd probably get cancer or something.
Yeah, for real.
I wonder if this is gonna be my last gimmick idea, my last topic of our conversation here is I wonder if you could like make a bit like basically like having like a residency as like a band that doesn't like deserve to have a residency, like just if like Vulgar Mephitis had like
We're the
a
Rock Room.
residency
Yeah.
Dude,
at the Rock Room, where like you played like every night
Holy
for
shit.
a month. I wonder if there's like a world record thing for like
A residency.
like number of shows played in a venue consecutively.
Man, I don't know who do you think has that record?
I don't know.
I don't really know either.
Is it Chris Angel, maybe?
Yeah, I mean he's been in Vegas for a while, but he's changed locations.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Well, how long has Garth Brooks been doing his residency in Vegas?
Not long, but I
Yeah.
went to that and it was sick.
I work with a guy that was there this year as well.
Yeah.
In July, I think. Something
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah, it was it was interesting for sure.
I'm sure.
He's quite a storyteller. That Garth Brooks, for sure. I had fun. You know, I'm not like a I'm not like a Garth Brooks fan. or
What made
anything like that.
what made you want to go to see that?
So I actually went with my ex.
Okay.
But you know, at the time we were together, and she's a Garth Brooks fan.
Oh, okay.
So-
Gotcha.
So we went, and it was cool. We had fun. You know, I think like seeing a live, like I could see like anybody of any genre, like a good performance is a good performance,
Agreed.
and just like his whole fucking band and everything. It was just one of those things where it's just like they're locked the fuck in.
Nice.
Like, you know, it was very professional, and you could tell like they had like all of their little fun beats of the way they transitioned songs, and he told stories, and he had like half of his band were like people that have been like playing with him on his studio records since like the 80s, and he's like, you know, just has this whole fucking thing that I'm sure it's like, oh well, like how do we just make this a more seamless and like professional-ish experience for everybody in the room instead of just being like a bunch of old people having band practice on
Yeah.
a stage.
Here's our songs.
Yeah, I would
Jump right.
rather be the first option than the second option. But in the same breath, like some people in your band might not care about it as much.
Sure.
You know?
And it's hard with some genres of music too, because it could easily come off as being like try hardy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you might, You mean like if I saw Garth Brooks or somebody like Garth Brooks just kind of like fucking off and just kind of like doing whatever, I'd be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, you would expect
But
a little
then,
more.
you know, if I was at like, you know, the Rock Room and I saw somebody doing all this very like choreographed time stuff, I'd be like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah,
You know, so there's always a time and a place for things too.
sure.
But again, it's interesting just to see how that world operates from like a production standpoint.
Yeah.
Well, I toured with I was gonna say I toured with a band that like I was opening for them in a band called Desiderium, but Cyborg Octopus, they had like some of the funniest like stage choreography stuff like going on, and they hit like the same beats like every night for it. It was hilarious. Like no matter how like big or small the audience was, they like still did it. Like like the stage banter and like the choreograph like flexing and stuff like that was like the same like throughout the set. It was really funny. Like and then like they all had like matching tracksuits on too, like during their set. So it was really good.
Yeah, I mean, it works for some people, and you know, I don't know. It's interesting, just thinking about, just when you get to that point where you can like be in a band and you're playing shows, and you're like, well, what if we made this even more involved and added like props or matching outfits or little gimmicks in between the songs and things like that. It's cool if you're in a band that can do that, but again, doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah. That was another thing Black Dahlia did really well, is like just like making it like funny with the props and stuff too.
Yeah. If Vulgar Mephitis was going to have a gimmick, what would it be?
Nick breaking his foot. I don't know what it is.
Nick breaking his foot.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know.
All right, I got a better question for you then. All right, so do you remember in the late 2000s when Denny's, the American institution, did the Rockstar menu?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Hoobastank had the Hooburrito,
yeah,
for example. If Vulgar Mephitis was on the Rockstar menu, what would the item be?
Probably an omelet.
That's a good, that or like a breakfast burrito, maybe.
Yeah, breakfast burrito is a good option.
Do you have a good name for it?
Jacob should be here for this.
Yeah. Yeah, can we pay Jacob for a good name for a
fill it in here
item?
Yeah, we'll figure it out tomorrow, and
we'll let you know.
We'll patch it all.
We'll be right back.
You have to come back for the sequel.
Yeah. Well, I hope you enjoy our really well choreographed show at the Rock Room tomorrow.
I'm looking forward to it. I want to see pyrotechnics.
Yeah.
I want to see definitely like some type of choreographed legwork. Sorry, I'm like
we can do that.
Things under here, but yeah, choreographed legwork.
Yeah.
That's it. Just those two things. Pyrotechnics and choreographed legwork. I mean, it's less than 24 hours notice, so
yeah, we'll be there, and we'll have leg kicks and cartwheels and explosions.
We could do some kind of crabcore thing.
Oh yeah, that's. Is that coming back with everything?
I hope not. I really hope not.
We'll be cooking omelets and burritos in between songs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Our Denny's food menu.
I feel like that's a gimmick that I've seen somebody do. Somebody was like cooking on stage.
Huh. Damn.
Yeah,
it's hard to be original.
Was it
somebody with like a fog machine, but then they also brought out a grill and then like cooked something for like ambiance, like fog with the
Why does the fog machine smell like a cheeseburger?
And I saw
I can't remember what the band name is.
I saw something. There was like a drummer that was doing something like in between, like he had like a little grill or something. I forget what he was doing, but he was like doing stuff like in between songs and like, you know, did like a whole time lapse, like just goofy video of it. And like, I don't know. I guess it's like part of me is like, that's really funny, but it's also like, it's interesting to see like the line between like, please look at me and just like genuine watching this, if you weren't at the Rock Room on Monday, September 15th, 16th?
16th.
16th, you fucked up.
Yeah, you done fucked up.
But
it was great. Yeah.
But if you were there, you know, it was a good time. I want to thank you both for coming on today to chat.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks so
It was
much.
a good chat. I mean, it was very focused. We didn't go on to any side tangents at all.
We
Pretty
did pretty
solid.
good, I think. For not having like real subject matter in mind, I think we did pretty good.
Oh yeah. I think this was a solid time. It was quite a hoot.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys. So yeah, you know, who wants to do the talking about their band, promoting the social media stuff after we just made fun of social media for 40 minutes?
I'll let Jay do it.
Okay. I mean, we have an Instagram. Everything's just Vulgar Mephitis, I'm pretty sure, on everything. So just follow that. Nothing extra in it or anything. We got 3 songs out. We got 2 more coming at some point. No idea when right now, but yeah, 2 songs. That's it.
And
coming up.
Then an
playing-
LP will follow that.
Yeah, LP following that.
You'll be playing some shows, and then you'll release some music, and you'll have fun.
Yeah, we'll do fun band stuff. Yeah, all of the social media links should be accessible from our Instagram, so find it there.
Rock and roll. And with that being said, that is all, folks. I'll be back again next week with another episode. Same time, same place, same channel. You know the drill. My name is Brian Sykes Howe. Start the Beat is the podcast. 2024 is the year. And until next time, take care of yourselves, take care of the people around you, and peace out. We did it. That was a podcast.
Cool.
Yes.
Nice, dude.